Castlevania is on Netflix. 2017 to 2021 is a gothic fantasy animated series based on Konami's long-running video game franchise of the same name. Created by Warren Ellis and produced by Powerhouse Animation, the show reimagines the classic tale of good versus evil with intense drama, philosophical complexity, and richly developed characters. At the heart of the series stands Dracula, not as a one-dimensional villain, but as a grieving husband, a vengeful godlike being, and a symbol of tragic downfall. He is not just the show's central antagonist, he is its emotional and thematic core. Castlevania is set in a dark medieval world where science and superstition collide and monsters roam the night. The church dominates society, often burning those it deems heretical. Vampires, demons, and dark forces manipulate the world from the shadows. The series follows the Belmont clan, especially Trevor Belmont, in their efforts to stop Dracula's genocidal crusade against humanity. Alongside him are Cypher Belnades, a powerful speaker magician, and Alucard, Dracula's son, torn between love and duty. Who is Dracula in Castlevania? Full name, Vlad Dracula Tepes. A vampire lord with vast knowledge of science, magic, and war, formerly a reclusive scholar. Marries Lisa, a human doctor who teaches him compassion. Turns genocidal after Lisa is executed. Has a son, Alucard, Adrian. Unlike many depictions, this Dracula is deeply emotional, articulate, and capable of love. He is as much a philosopher as a predator, and his tragedy lies in how much he cared. Dracula's history and origins, series canon. Dracula was once a powerful vampire who withdrew from the world, disgusted by its ignorance. When Lisa Tepes visited his castle seeking knowledge to help humanity, he was intrigued. Her compassion softened him. They fell in love, and for the first time in centuries, Dracula opened himself to the world. She challenged his misanthropy. Their love was a turning point, not only for Dracula, but for the world. But the church, fearing Lisa's knowledge, branded her a witch and executed her. Dracula arrived moments too late. From that moment, Dracula ceased to be a man. He became a storm of wrath, vowing to wipe humanity from the earth as punishment for destroying the one good thing in his life. Dracula's transformation is not immediate. It unfolds like a Greek tragedy. Grief over Lisa's death turns to hatred. Hatred festers into a desire to destroy the world. As the war drags on, he grows lethargic, self-destructive, and suicidal. By season 2, Dracula wants to die. He has lost all meaning. His war is not about vengeance anymore. It is about ending his own pain. Philosophical collapse. Dracula is a thinker. He once believed in learning, progress, and even love. Lisa represented that possibility. Her death proves to him that the world is irredeemable. He concludes that humanity is inherently cruel. Progress leads only to death. God is either absent or complicit. So Dracula becomes the god he believes the world deserves, merciless and final. Relationships that shape Dracula. Lisa Tepes, the only person Dracula truly loved. Her execution by the church is the core wound of the series. Her memory torments Dracula. He sees her face even in battle. Her kindness is the standard by which Dracula judges the rest of the world and finds it wanting. Alucard, the son of Dracula. Their relationship is central to the emotional core of the show. Alucard loves his father but knows he must stop him. Their final battle is tragic, intimate, and devastating. Dracula dies not screaming but crying, realizing he's trying to kill his son. Isaac and Hector, two human forge masters Dracula spares. He sees their pain and loneliness as mirrors of his own. Isaac is fiercely loyal. Hector is more hesitant. Their arcs reflect different aspects of Dracula's legacy: faith versus disillusionment, Dracula's fall, grief, and humanity. Dracula's power is godlike. He can warp space, summon armies, and destroy cities. But the most frightening thing about him is how human he is beneath all that power. He mourns alone in his castle. He speaks to Lisa's memory. He is haunted by his own choices. His decline mirrors real grief, anger, numbness, and eventual breakdown. By season 2, he doesn't care about the war. His court crumbles, he stops eating, his castle becomes a mausoleum. In the final battle, when Alucard stabs him, Dracula does not scream or rage. He whispers, "I'm killing my boy, Lisa's boy." It is not a death, it's a release. The church executes Lisa out of ignorance and fear. Their actions validate Dracula's war. The show critiques institutional cruelty disguised as piety. The cycle of revenge. Dracula's war creates new monsters. Isaac, Hector, Alucard, all are left scarred. The series explores whether this cycle can ever be broken. Dracula is not a villain, he's the main character. The first 2 seasons revolve around Dracula's war, grief, and decline. Heroes exist to stop him, but the story belongs to him. Dracula is a grieving husband, a loving father, a genocidal tyrant, a philosopher, a broken man. This complexity makes him unforgettable. Graham McTavish's voice acting gives Dracula depth, sorrow, and gravitas. He whispers, rages, weeps, always with dignity and power, philosophical weight. Dracula's monologues are not rants, they're meditations on existence. He makes you think even when you disagree. Dracula's intelligence and loneliness. Dracula isn't just a monster, he's a hyper-intelligent immortal who has spent centuries learning, observing, and detaching from the world. His mind is as vast as his rage. When Lisa meets him, she isn't just intrigued by his knowledge, she sees a deeply lonely man who has withdrawn from society because he no longer believes in its worth. His intellect isolates him. He speaks in long, poetic monologues, not to impress, but because he truly cannot connect with the people around him. Lisa becomes the only one who can speak his language. When she's murdered, that one thread to the world snaps. That loss doesn't just break his heart, it confirms everything he believed about humanity, that they fear what they don't understand, that they punish progress, that they kill beauty. This isn't the story of a monster who became cruel, it's the story of a genius who tried to love, failed, and gave up on everything. Dracula's war is a slow suicide. From the outside, Dracula's war against humanity looks like vengeance, but his actions in Season 2 reveal something more terrifying. He no longer wants to live. He does not care if the war fails or if his generals betray him. He stops feeding, speaking, and caring. He tells his generals, "This isn't a war, this is a suicide." He builds a machine of death so massive that it will eventually take him down with it. That's the true horror of Season 2, not that Dracula is going to destroy the world, but that he wants the world to kill him in return. His castle becomes a tomb, his throne a coffin. He doesn't rage at betrayal, he expects it. When Alucard comes to stop him, Dracula fights, yes, but as the battle nears its climax, he hesitates. When he looks at Alucard's room, the room he prepared for his son centuries ago, and sees how little has changed, it breaks him. His line, "I'm killing my boy, Lisa's boy," is the emotional center of the series. That moment isn't about Dracula losing the battle. It's about Dracula finally understanding what he has become and choosing to die. Dracula and Alucard, the ultimate reflection. Alucard isn't just Dracula's son, he's his mirror. Dracula is fire, rage, and darkness. Alucard is restraint, logic, and light. Dracula was corrupted by grief. Alucard was shaped by it. Dracula sees no future. Alucard clings to hope, even when there is no hope. Their relationship is Greek tragedy at its finest. It doesn't climax in betrayal, it climaxes in heartbreak. Neither wants to fight, but Alucard must, because Dracula won't stop, and Dracula lets him because he finally understands that his death is the only salvation left. This isn't father versus son, it's past versus future. And when Dracula dies, the silence that follows is not triumphant, it's mournful. Even Trevor and Sypha lower their heads. No one cheers, no one smiles. It's not victory, it's loss. Resurrection and redemption in Season 4. In the final season, the cult of death attempts to resurrect Dracula by fusing him with Lisa in a single grotesque body. This act reveals a deeper theme. Even Dracula's enemies do not understand him. They want to bring him back as a god of destruction. But Dracula never wanted that. He wanted to end. What the cult views as resurrection is actually the ultimate blasphemy. But fate intervenes. Trevor, using an ancient weapon, prevents the fusion. Dracula and Lisa are resurrected separately as human bodies with their minds intact. Instead of returning to the world, Dracula chooses exile with Lisa. He could rebuild an army, he could take revenge, he could take the throne. But he doesn't, because for the first time in centuries, he's free. Free from grief, free from immortality. Free to be a man, not a monster. Their final scene is quiet, no blood, no battle, just two people in a new place discussing how to begin again. It's one of the rarest things in tragic storytelling. Earned peace, the metaphor of the castle. Dracula's castle is not just a setting, it is a living extension of him. It moves across the world with his will. It defies physics, space, and time. When he is focused, it is a weapon. When he is broken, it is a labyrinth of grief. During Season 2, the castle becomes less a fortress and more a prison. Rooms go unused, doors lead nowhere. The castle reflects Dracula's psyche, brilliant, infinite, and decaying. And when Dracula dies, the castle falls. That is symbolic, not accidental. The war is over not when the heroes win, but when Dracula lets go. Dracula as a tragic hero. Let's be clear, Dracula is the main character of the first half of the series, and not a villain in the traditional sense. He follows the arc of a Shakespearean tragic hero. He starts noble, he has a fatal flaw, pride and grief. His downfall is his own doing, and he realizes it too late. That structure used for Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello is rare in genre animation, but Castlevania embraces it completely. That's why audiences mourn him, not because he was right, but because he was real. He could have been saved. and he knew it. What Dracula really represents. Dracula in Castlevania represents many things. Unchecked grief that becomes destructive. Philosophical despair turned into ideology. The pain of losing love and the fear of never finding it again. A god who tried to be human and failed. But most of all, Dracula represents the terrible, beautiful complexity of what it means to be broken by the world and what it takes to heal. Dracula doesn't fall because he's evil. He falls because he's human, and that's what makes him one of the greatest characters in animated television, not just in Castlevania, but in modern storytelling as a whole.